Hello, everyone. My name is Eva Karagu. I'm an innovation partner here at Digital Catapult. I will be your host for the Black Founders Program Briefing event. Our program sponsors are Sony Music UK and Sony Music Publishing UK, and we're really glad to share this opportunity with you all. So if you are here, we're going to record this session. It will be uploaded to our website, so you'll be able to rewatch this back if you miss anything, or if you're joining us later and watching this recording and if you've missed the start. There'll be an opportunity for questions at the end of this presentation. But in the meantime, while the presentation is happening, you can start posting them in the Q&A box. And then I will be facilitating the Q&A section at the end of this presentation. So before we get started, I'd like to hand it over to Jessica Rushworth, our Chief Strategy and Policy Officer here at Digital Catapult. So Jessica, you're happy to turn on your camera audio, and I'll hand it over to her to talk about the company and why the Black Founders Program exists.
Thanks very much, Evelyn. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for your interest in this programme. So my name is Jessica Rushworth. I'm the Chief Strategy and Policy Officer here at Digital Catapult. So Digital Catapult is a not-for-profit private sector organisation. We're part of the Catapult network, and which means that we have funding from government, we have R&D funding, and we also have commercial funding. And our mission is to accelerate the adoption of advanced digital technologies for the UK. So the success of the Catapult is based on the success of the companies that we work with. So we're really motivated for everyone to be successful and to achieve their investment and commercial outcomes. So what do we do at Digital Catapult? So we deliver acceleration and innovation programs, and this is the second Black Founders program that we're running. A lot of our programs can be aligned to either technology or industry challenge and themes. We also build facilities, run pilots, proof of concepts, and test new business models. And we do R&D and work on policy recommendations and research. We can work with all sorts of different people. So we do a lot of work with government and the private sector. We really love working with startups and scale-ups. And last time, we really, really enjoyed working with the companies on this program. We work with large corporates and industry, and it's a pleasure to work with Sony on this program. And investors, we have a wide investor network, and I think the team will tell you more about that later with academia and with the rest of the Catapult network. So why have we chosen to do this program? As I said before, this is the second program. A lot of our research shows the challenges of underrepresented founders, and particularly Black founders, in accessing investment, in accessing connections to investors, to corporates, the main issue essentially was raising investment, which, there's lots of conclusions you can draw from the statistics, but the main thing that I want to draw from this is that it means that investors are missing out on some huge opportunities. So one thing this program can definitely do for you is to raise the profile, and we can help you connect with investors and to help you on your investment journey. So I think that's all that I have to say, but I'm very happy to answer as many questions as you might have in the Q&A, and I'll hand back to Evan. Thank you.
Thanks, Jessica. So next, I'll pass it on to Cassandra Gracie, who's the president of Fourth Floor Creative at Sony Music UK, who let's also say a few words. I'll stop sharing my screen so that you can see her as well.
Hi, so I'm Cassandra Gracie. I'm president of Fourth Floor Creative here at Sony Music. We look after all things digital, audience building, creative, brands, sync, and various other departments. Sony Music is part of Sony Corporate. That includes Sony Electronics, Sony Games, Sony Pictures, Sony PlayStation. So there's over 100,000 employees across those groups. But today I am talking on behalf of Sony Music which is the UK-based company, and Sony Publishing, and they're also based here with us in the UK. Sony Publishing is the #1 publisher in the world, so they look after the artists and the songwriters and composers. And then on our side, on the record side, we work with the artists and have the master recordings. It was our privilege to be working with Digital Catapult last time and sponsor the first program, and we are really excited to get into the second program, learn together, and hopefully achieve some investments by the end. But yeah, we're really delighted to be part of this and hopefully look forward to meeting some of you. Thanks.
Thanks, Cassie. So I'll share my screen again. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Black Founders Program, and you'll hear more about Sony's involvement in the program later on. So the Black Founders Program is a 13-week accelerator that will start from August to November this year. And the aim is to target 10 pre-seed and seed stage companies with a Black founder. You'll be getting bespoke investment and business support from Digital Catapult, and will benefit from interacting with Sony Music UK and Sony Music Publishing UK and our wider network of those working in the creative industries. One of the things that you will, of support that you will receive from Digital Catapult are diagnostic sessions. And this is an opportunity for Digital Catapult to learn more about your company in depth, so that the support that we provide over the course of the accelerator is bespoke and specific to your needs indeed. And the investment guidance that you will get will be based on the findings from that. The program is free for everyone to participate, so you don't need to pay anything. Digital Catapult is not interested in asking for equity in return for support. And the program, we are able to provide a financial contribution towards the cost of completing this program. There'll be also an opportunity for potential funding once you join the Digital Catapult Innovators community. You'll also get peer support. So you'll be part of a cohort. You'll be able to build relationships, share insights, collaborate with your cohort potentially through group coaching sessions and other networking opportunities, as well as speaking to our alumni. There'll be plenty of masterclasses and one-to-one mentoring as well from our creative industry experts. So they will be able to introduce you to their network and really accelerate and help move your business forward. At Digital Catapult, we have lots of facilities, state-of-the-art facilities as well, that you'll have access to, which include our immersive labs, our Sonic labs in London and across the country. And when you're on the program, and once we understand more about your company, we can find out ways in which those facilities can help your company grow. So that's just a quick overview of what support you'll be getting on the program from us. But now I will hand it over to Harry from Sony Music UK, who can speak a little bit more about the resource and support that his team can provide. So if Harry is ready to come on screen, that'd be great.
Thank you, Evelyn. Yeah, I'm really delighted to be here for the second year in a row. I was really proud of what we did last year. I think the feedback we had from our amazing founders was super positive across the board. So last year, I think we did really pleased with the job that we did in terms of facilitating opportunities for our cohort to network with Sony Music UK. This year, we've got Sony Music Publishing on board as well. So we're really thinking about putting together opportunities for people to really understand what Sony Music and Sony Music Publishing do day to day, how their businesses might be able to offer value, etc. And then the mentorship was a really big part of the program last year, and I think a part that we got really excellent feedback on. Last year, we had people from companies such as Meta, TikTok, SoundCloud, Sony Publishing. We had VCs, we had people who were angels. I think we really thought long and hard about the sort of support that our cohort needed last year and worked really hard to put it together. I'm really looking forward to doing that again and hopefully broadening out the scope of that as we've broadened out the program a little bit as well. And then on to the kind of potential collaboration opportunities. One of the things that really excites me about this program is that we're finding exceptional entrepreneurs that we maybe wouldn't come across through our usual routes, which is why I feel like this program should exist. But that's exciting because we're hearing new ideas, new ways to reach audiences, and to kind of collaborate with our artists. There's a couple of last year's cohort that we're still kind of exploring opportunities with. So that door is definitely open as well. And yeah, I'm going to stick around, happy to answer any questions, but really delighted to be back for a second year.
Thanks, Harry. Thanks for that. Yeah, we're excited to be working with Sony again this year too. So not only will you be able to work with Sony, but our wider network, we have community partners, and these community partners are really crucial to spreading the word about this program to their network, but they also can provide unique access to their resources. So for example, we have worked with Impact Brixton last year, who were able to provide discount on co-working spaces. We're able to send our companies as well to Black Tech Fest, which was run by Color in Tech, as well as host networking opportunities for the community partners. So there will be a really wonderful resource for you all as well, should you make it onto the program. But up next, we are going to now talk about the application criteria. So what is it that we are looking for exactly? Well, we want to see exciting businesses that are pushing the boundaries of the creative industries. And the subsectors that we're focusing on are around advertising and marketing, animation, crafts, design, fashion, film, TV, visual arts, music, publishing, an array. Whether you're focusing on one of those subsectors, usually within the creative industries, there's a lot of crossover. We're interested in seeing your application. Your company will need to be using at least one of the technology areas that we focus on at Digital Catapult. So whether it's in the future networks area, in 5G or IoT, you're using artificial intelligence or immersive technologies, as well as distributed ledger technologies, i.e. blockchain. We want to see your application come through. In addition to that, your company must be a UK-based registered company. You need to be looking for investment opportunities. So you need to look to be raising investment within the next 12 months. At least one founder from your company should be Black or mixed with Black heritage. And we're looking for pre-seed and seed stage companies. So in terms of pre-seed, that's a company that can demonstrate that you're solving a customer's problem. We expect that you've kicked off your business with perhaps a small amount of funding, or you're seeking funding that will help support the early development of your product. With seed stage, that's more focused on the companies who are looking to grow, develop their product market fit, drive sales, and identify strategies for growth for their companies. And again, if you have more questions about that, then our investment team will be able to answer that later on. And our investment team are Anthony Lyle, our head of investment, and Miriam as well, our startup investment manager. They lead the engagement with our investor community, and they can advise you on strategy on your funding journey if you join the program. And they'll be your main point of contact throughout the program as well. So I've spoken a little bit about what you can expect, what we are looking for with companies, but to bring it to life a little bit, I'll just talk about a couple of people from our alumni. So we have Loud Parade, who was supported last year, and with the help of artificial intelligence and a network of 30 independent artists, the co-founders, Ramon Agbaje and Martin Adewumi, were able to deliver innovative and authentic ads to global audiences. And so through their joint passion for music and data science, they came together and Loud Parade was born. And Loud Parade make bespoke music for brands and creative agencies by facilitating the syncing of by facilitating the complicated process of syncing and licensing popular music. And so on the Black Founders Program, they were able to not only develop their value proposition and connect with investors, but then they had a deeper understanding of how to manage expectations, especially when they were pitching to potential investors. And that's something obviously that we can do for you too. We also supported Nyangibo Gallery, who's working in the immersive space. So founder Hamid Nyangibo went from studying international art to software engineering, and she recognized that there wasn't a dedicated space for virtual reality art in London. And so that sparks the idea of the gallery. And she brought her expertise and background in managing exhibitions and crafting an app that was for an immersive art experience. But obviously on her journey, she recognized that there were challenges around raising investment, especially for a location-based experience. So that's why she joined our program. And we were able to support her through mentorship, show her alternative funding paths for her company and not just the traditional venture capital route. And this knowledge helped her to tailor her plans and steer her strategic direction for future growth. And last year, she was able to launch that, launch the gallery and have award-winning artists join, including the likes of like French VR director Tatiana Apraxin and fashion artist Yu Chen. So we're really glad that we can support, and I've been to them and they're really amazing experiences. But you don't just have to hear it from me. So now I'd like to bring on another one of our alumni, Abigail Maria Sol, who is the founder and CEO of Dea. So Abigail, if you just like to turn on your screen and join. There we go. So yeah, Dea is dedicated to empowering Black creatives of all disciplines. And it's a place where you can hone your craft, find paid work, showcase your talents, and connect with like-minded collaborators. So I'm just going to ask Abigail a few questions. I'll stop sharing my screen now so that you can see her face properly. But thank you for joining us, Abigail. So I'll put a few questions to you. So it'd just be great if you can speak in more depth about the problem that Dea is trying to solve.
Yeah, so Dea is here to solve the problem of poor representation in the creative industries. We know that Black people are underrepresented, and we know that creative organisations want to do better, but often don't know how. So we're simplifying how you hire Black creative talent using our HR tech platform.
And it would be good if you could talk a bit about like what your experience was on the Black Founders Program last year, and what was the most valuable thing for you during that time.
Yeah, so loads of things were valuable. So one of which is definitely the contacts, the sorry, my dog has just decided to choose this moment to to start nudging me behind me. Yeah, definitely the contacts that you that we've made on the program through mentorship and coaching, and also the support of the product team. But I would say the most valuable thing has got to be the understanding and the demystification of the investment process. So I myself come from an arts background. I'm a director of film and theatre and a drama therapist, and I've run a business before, but it was a not-for-profit. So the kind of funding models that I'm used to are much more kind of geared towards grants. So yeah, just understanding the different processes available, particularly around like VCs and angels and beyond, has been invaluable and just essential for Dea's journey.
Awesome, that's great. And since the end of the program, I've seen on social media a lot of progress that you've made and awards you've been winning, but it'll be great for you to share some key moments for Dea since leaving the program.
So directly related to what I just spoke about, so we've now got advanced assurance for SEIS. So that means, for anyone who doesn't know that, investors can get a 50% tax discount so it makes us really attractive to investors. So that's definitely a milestone in our fundraising journey. A lot of people don't realize we haven't actually launched yet, but we've been doing lots of what we call warm-up activity, growing our waitlist. So we've got 2,000 Black creatives waiting to use our platform, and we've developed relationships with employers who also want to use it. So we've got our platform built, tested, ready to go. And yeah, like you mentioned, Evelyn, a couple of awards here and there, a couple of grant wins. Yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Wonderful. And the last question will be some advice that you could give to potential applicants. What should they, what do you think they should be including in their applications as they write them?
So I think the headline point is probably clarity. So I mean, I can't speak to like what the application process is now. I know some of the eligibility bits have changed, but how I usually approach writing applications is just making sure that's really clear. So imagine that you're maybe like the 20th application that someone has read. What can you do to make yours stand out? So whether that's like basic things like headings, bullet points, just like, and maybe getting someone to read over your application, someone who knows nothing about your business, to make sure that it's clear to them, because sometimes when you're in something, when it's your baby, you're like, you can take for granted that it's clear, but it isn't necessarily. And then I always think about why me? So eligibility. Why them? So like synergy with digital Catapult, maybe demonstrating that you know a bit about the organization and what there is to offer. And also program partners, and then why the program? So what is the opportunity there for your business? How can you demonstrate that this business is actually going to move you forward? A good starting points.
Awesome. All very, very good advice. I concur with that. Yeah, thank you again for joining us, Abigail. That's really helpful. And if you have questions or you want to connect with Abigail, you can do that offline, and she's happy to chat with you if you have more deep and probing questions about her experience on the program. Cool. So I'm now going to talk a bit about the application process. So I'll just get my screen back up for everyone. So the application process, it's online. You'll need to submit it by the 7th of July at 23:59. You can save and return to your form as you need to. So you can start it today, and then before the deadline, you can submit that. If you need any assistance, then it can be a video application. You can just email us with your questions or requests for support, and I'll show you the email address that you can send those requests to at the end of the session today. All the questions do need to be answered, otherwise your application may be rejected. Once the application window is closed, they will be judged and assessed by Digital Catapult, our sponsors and collaboration partners, and there'll be a shortlist. If there is a case where several of the applications are of borderline quality, then we will invite those applicants for interview. A new score will be generated based on the interview, and then we will select the 10 companies from that. Our interviews will be held on the 29th of July to the 31st of July, and they'll be roughly 30 minutes long. So do try and keep a small window available during that time in case you are asked to join. Once we have selected the 10 companies, we will notify them, and the contracts, that the program participation agreement is standard and it's non-negotiable, but we do try and ensure that the contracts are fair and reasonable, and you'll have time to ask us questions about that. So once the contract that has been done, just to give you a little insight, this is what the application page looks like. We will be asking you questions around your problem and solution, the growth potential, your strategy, and your team's ability to execute and build the products or service it is that you are developing. So that's it for now. We've done a lot of speaking. but we'll take questions at this moment. So if the Digital Catapult team are happy to start their videos and unmute themselves, I will now look to the Q&A box as well and answer some questions that are coming through. So one question we have is around the 13-week program. What sort of commitment is required? Is it daily engagements? Are they online? How many hours? So yeah, I can answer this. So we will have a few in-person events. There are a few networking opportunities that we encourage our cohort to join. Those networking opportunities are primarily will be held in London, but the financial contribution that you'll have access to will help contribute to covering those costs should you need to travel in. The rest of the program, we will take a remote first approach, so it will be online. And we do want to make sure that the program is as accessible as possible. So we appreciate that people can't come into our offices constantly. So they won't be daily. We will try and have all of our activities on one day so that you can work around that. Right now we're thinking Thursday, but we will always try and make sure that all of our activities are at least on one day so that you have plenty of time to focus on other things, especially your business. Our sessions are typically not more than half a day. So we might have an investment workshop that's quite long and in depth. But then our other sessions are usually around an hour to 90 minutes and it's online. So hopefully that answers the question. So there is a question around a solo founder. When making applications, the team's ability to execute is something that I struggle with. I have a team of contractors that I use as and when I need, but none are officially full-time with the business. Will this weaken my chances, and how can I show that I can indeed execute? So for us, we don't have a problem if you have contractors in your business. We understand at the early stage, it is difficult to have full-time team members. We just want to understand what those roles are in your team. Obviously, you as the founder, we expect that you would be spending most time on the business, but that we don't hold that against startups. We appreciate that things are difficult at the beginning of a company's journey. So that should not weaken your chance. We just want to understand that you will have a team that will enable you to deliver what it is you said you want to do. I don't know if anybody else in the Digital Catapult team wants to speak to that.
I can just add to it. You know, we've got a lot of experience with working with micro businesses, which is essentially like solo founders. So I think it's something that they might look at in the investment criteria, and we can work on the plan with you. It depends on what your strategy, your business strategy is, and what you might need. So actually, this would be a good opportunity for you. So it will be something that we could help you with, I think. I don't know if Anthony or Miriam want to add to that at all.
I was just going to add to that. I think from an investment perspective, we have quite a few solo founders who go through the process. I think it's just being able to show how you can address a gap, any kind of particular gaps that you may have in your team. And that's kind of, as long as you kind of ensure that that's kind of explained in your plans or talks with investors, for example, that's something that they would ask about just as part of their due diligence. But I'd say, yeah, it shouldn't deter you from applying.
Cool. Thank you for that. So we have another question, and this one is around manufacturing digital batteries. So can my project of manufacturing digital batteries proof of concept, pilot phase and mass production, is there any lab and catapult facilities for electromechanical batteries that applies AI? Who can help our UK startup company build the models to be developed? It's quite a specific question. And so the first thought I have is I would encourage you to join one of our 15-minute Q&A sessions so that you can understand more about what it is your company is doing. Digital Catapult is part of a wider Catapult network as well. And so we have people that we can point you in the right direction to. And obviously we are focused on AI, so we do have experts in-house who can give some clarity on that. But it would be good to understand more what it is your company is doing specifically. I'm not sure again if Jessica, you wanted to.
Yeah, so we can potentially. So again, I would need to know a bit more. We have got a Future Networks lab, and we have got expertise in testing hardware, particularly battery life. Actually, Ramona has done a lot of work there. But it depends what your application is for. I'm assuming it's going to be an application maybe in film or content or something like that. So it has to be applied in the wider creative industries. But potentially we can help with that.
Awesome, thank you. Next question is around the criteria of what we're looking to support. So the program is supported by Sony Music, but can we submit entries that are not related to music? Ours is a digital comic book and upscaling the tech behind our book. So want to know if that still applies. So yes, we are interested in supporting companies that are working in sectors that are beyond the music industry. We are interested in the creative industries as a whole. So do put an application through. Like we said, we're just interested in how you're solving a problem in that space. So I am looking at another question. So the next question I see is, does the business have to be defined as a creative arts business, or can it be a tech company with an innovation that can impact on digital creative industry, for example, reduction of carbon emissions or shared resources in general? Yes, we're interested in how we can improve the creative industries. So if you can show that there's a relevant market there, then yeah, we're interested in interesting ways. There may be a problem that we've not quite recognized that you'll be addressing. So we are interested in not only the artistic element of a company, but how you are solving problems in the ecosystem and infrastructure that impacts the creative industries. Did anybody else want to answer that from DC?
I'm just going to agree. Like, I'm just, each time I'm thinking of questions, I'm thinking, oh, great, I can't wait to see these applications. Really looking forward to them. So yeah, as long as it has any relevance in the creative industry, good, all sorts of technologies, all sorts of applications, really welcome. So I can see some other questions that we're going to go through. So great.
Yes. So another question I see is around, I have a B2C prop tech business. Marketing and advertising is core to our go-to market. Does this count for your program? So yes, as mentioned before, marketing and advertising is one of the sectors that we're interested in. It falls under the creative industries umbrella. So if again, you just need to demonstrate how that is impacting. Yeah, just demonstrating your application, how the tech is solving a problem in that industry, and we will be happy to read it. There's another question about launching an AI-powered cybersecurity service in the UK that protects businesses from financial losses and reputational damage. Can we apply? So it does sound interesting, that program, and obviously you're working in AI, so that's something that we are interested in. Obviously this program is focused on the creative industries, so what we need to see is how that relates to that criteria. So that's not clear from the question that you've asked. But again, you can book in some time with us this Friday or next week for a 15-minute slot to provide more context and we can understand better. Anthony, I saw your hand up. I don't know if you wanted to say anything.
Yeah, I just wanted to reinforce that message that if the creative industries and the bits that fall under that are the key target market for that application, then I would say that that's a strong application.
Awesome. Thank you. Another question that might be relevant for you on the investment team is there a business that is too mature for our program? I'm assuming probably they mean it's like stage, whether pre-seed or seed or beyond. So it would be good for you to speak, I guess, to the stage we're looking for.
This program's targeting early stage companies. Again, it'll be good to kind of understand what is meant by too mature. But yeah, so if you're really looking to kind of raise your first official round of private investment or very, very early stage, then do get in touch. But you can book in a one-to-one session with the team, and then we can try and understand if the business may not necessarily, or the business may fall outside that criteria in terms of maturity. Investors do look at certain things when it comes to the year that this how long a company has been established. It shouldn't deter you from receiving investment. It's just making sure that it's the right fit for this program.
Awesome, thank you. So will the presentation be shared? We'll be uploading this webinar on our website afterwards, so you'll be able to see it there. But if you want the slide decks, you just send us an email and then we can share a copy with you. Are we Digital Catapult able to give insight into what the contract entails? Does it require any IP restrictions? So yeah, to be clear, we at Digital Catapult, our role is to help the ecosystem work better and bring innovation to the forefront. And we aren't interested in your IP. Your IP belongs to you when you join the program. The contracts that you'll be signing is largely just around agreements in your participation in the program. So saying that you'll attend the majority of the workshops and masterclasses that you'll be joining. It will give in more detail about IP, but just off the bat, we won't be taking any of that. It all belongs to you. But again, if you have more specific questions, send us an email and then we can provide you with a more relevant answer to that. Somebody's asked, can we explain what UK based means? Their business is based in the UK, but they want to scale to the USA and Africa. And they've also worked in big tech, and they are known for working in music and with global music labels, but they've recently left. And they've had a lot of success in bringing revenue using AI-powered tools and solutions. But their business has just launched. Are they still eligible, and can they use their corporate experience to showcase their ability? Yes, most definitely. Please do. It'll make your application stronger. From your background, it seems as though you've got a wealth of experience, so that's always positive. So yeah, the fact that you think there's a global market again is encouraging. So we just need to see that you have a company registered in the UK and that you have significant activity happening in the UK. But if you can also share and show us how you think your company and your market could go beyond the UK, that's really good. Don't know if anybody else in the DC team wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I was going to say, so I love the ambition to scale overseas. That's really great. And we can look at your strategy around that. And if you've just started a business, that's also fine, because I've seen a few other questions about if you've just got started, that's fine. We're here for the early stage businesses, and we've had quite a lot of successful businesses come through Digital Catapult where people have previously started in different industries, corporate, from banking, finance, music, you name it. So there's many different ways that you can come into starting your business. So all of that contributes to your knowledge and expertise of the sector that you're going into. So that's really great. So I'm even more looking forward to seeing these applications as they come through.
Thanks, Jessica. There's another question about working in setting up music lessons in a library and also set up writing for books and latter into films. Can this project come into our, I guess, stream of applications? So you haven't spoken about the technology element in that question. So we don't have a limit on the way on what it is your business is doing. We're actually really interested in the innovative ways that you're addressing challenges, but we just need to see a clear application of one of the technology areas that we are focused on. So yes, we are interested in the idea right now. Again, it's not as clear as to what it is specifically you're trying to the problem you're trying to address. And there have been a few questions about how to book a call with us, and I'll share that information once the Q&A is finished. I think there are a couple of questions that I'll answer in one go. So there's one around how many businesses applied to our program last year and how many will be part of the cohort. So off the top of my head, we had over 30 applications, and we had more than 30 again who were interested and registered interest in the program. The cohort number was 10, and we are looking to onboard 10 companies this year. So that's that. So hopefully if your application goes well, then you'll be one of those 10. How much do we invest into each company on average? So during the course of the program, we don't invest at this stage. We are interested in providing investment readiness support. So the idea is that our investment team will support you to get to, well, you may have already raised some investment, but help you on that journey in getting more investment and speaking to other potential investors. But I guess I'll leave it to Anthony and Miriam to speak about possibilities of investment post the program.
Yeah. Go ahead, Anthony.
I was going to say the Cross Catapult Fund is a new initiative, so we're still building out the initial portfolio from there. Currently, the investments are ranging around the 500K mark, but we have a range of 250 to 750 for successful companies to invest in from that fund.
Great, thank you. There's another question around the type of entity that will be applying to our program. So somebody has a not-for-profit company registered with a Companies House. The new venture is currently under our not-for-profit company. They've received small seed funding to develop a prototype, but they want to eventually register it as a commercial entity. Is it okay to go ahead with an application to this program?
I can start off with that as well. I think I mean, it's great that you've started off with a CIC, effectively. It sounds like community interest company. And again, great that you secured some funding as well to help you with your startup. If you are looking to make it or register it as a commercial entity, then yeah, it should be fine. So as long as the ambitions are to raise private equity investment, that's something that we're keen to support. It'd be great to understand your ambitions a bit more. So again, it could be good to have a chat with you on a one-to-one.
Awesome, thank you. Another question that's come through is, I have a multimedia and tech company that is in the R&D process of curating a digital assistant that can better understand non-Eurocentric accents. Would this qualify for the application, or would it be best for me to apply for assistance surrounding the more creative initiatives my business does? So this does sound interesting. I think I'm gonna have to point you to have a call with us specifically about what aspects of the business is more the creative aspect versus the addressing understanding non-Eurocentric accents for you to put in the application. But I think that those are the key questions that have come through. The others, there's one around, can a newly registered company apply that's 1 month old? We are not bothered necessarily by the age. We just want to know that the team can execute. So yes, you will need to have a registered company to participate in the program. That would be all. But I'm going to speak a little bit about just some important dates and how to apply for one-to-one Q&As with us going forward. But thanks to everyone who's helped on the Q&A. Right now, I will share my screen and highlight some of the key dates. So some important dates that are coming up. Obviously, we have this webinar. You've been able to ask some questions of us, and we're keen to hear more from you. We know that there are quite unique questions that everyone has, so we're happy to answer that. So the next Q&A slots available that we have are on the 21st, which is later this week, and the next week, I believe, on the 27th of June. So when you go to the Open Call website and you scroll down, you will see these dates and you'll be able to book your slot for those 15-minute Q&A with myself and some other team members. Obviously, the next key date is the 7th of July. That is our deadline for receiving applications. So please do make sure you submit it by that time, because afterwards we will not be able to read or accept those applications. And then please do apply now. As I've mentioned before, you can start your application, save it, then come and ask us some questions. Once you've got clarity on that, you can go back to continuing your application and before submitting. If you do have more specific questions, then you can send that through to our colleague Kirsty Downham, and she will be able to respond to those queries. If you have any requests surrounding submitting an application, let her know. And if you can just put in the Black Founders Program Open Call in the subject title, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But for now, that is it from us at Digital Catapult and the Sony Music UK and Sony Music Publishing UK team. Thank you for joining the webinar. We hope to see lots of applications come through, and we hope you have a good rest of the day. Thank you, everyone.